Rewritten script. Hello everyone. If your birth year falls before 1958, there is a precise and pressing reason why this video carries more weight for you than for any other viewer watching at this very moment. The regulations shaping your Social Security payment, the full retirement age that applies specifically to your birth cohort, the formula used to calculate delayed retirement credits, and the particular legislative updates that came into force in 2025 have all converged to create an opportunity for people in your age range that simply does not exist for those born at a later date. The figure I want to highlight today is $26,400. That represents the yearly gap between the smallest possible Social Security payment available to someone who earned the maximum and the largest available amount, specifically $2,969 each month if you filed at age 62 compared to $5,181 each month if you held off until age 70. Multiply that monthly gap by 12, and you arrive at $26,544 annually, permanently, for every single year remaining in your life. And for your surviving spouse, every year of their life after yours has ended. That is the extreme end of the range. Most people are not maximum earners, but the same proportional logic holds true at every benefit level. For those born before 1958, many of whom have already arrived at or surpassed their full retirement age of 66, there are targeted strategies, available corrections, and recent legal updates that have the potential to add thousands of dollars annually to what you collect, and that the majority of people in your birth cohort have never been thoroughly informed about. My name is Carol Haynes. I have worked for 13 years as a certified financial counselor serving retirees. The discussion I want to have with you today is the one I most frequently wish I could have had with people before they reach decisions they are no longer able to reverse. Let me begin by explaining what sets people born before 1958 apart from those born afterward. Your full retirement age is 66, not 66 and 2 months, not 66 and 6 months, and not 67. Exactly 66. This applies to everyone born between 1943 and 1954. For those born between 1955 and 1959, the full retirement age climbs gradually, reaching 66 and 10 months for individuals born in 1959. For anyone born in 1960 or after, the full retirement age is 67. This distinction is significant for two reasons. First, if you filed for your Social Security benefit at exactly age 66 and you were born before 1955, you received the full 100% of your primary insurance amount. No reduction applied, no delayed credit was added, just the complete amount. Second, if you delayed filing past 66, you began accumulating delayed retirement credits at a rate of 8% per year. Each year you waited beyond your full retirement age of 66 up through age 70 added 8% permanently to your monthly payment. For someone born before 1958 who postponed claiming from age 66 all the way to age 70, those delayed credits added 32% on top of their full retirement age benefit. If your full retirement age benefit was $2,500 monthly, waiting until 70 produced $3,300 per month. The gap comes out to $800 monthly or $9,600 per year, permanently locked in. A significant number of people born before 1958 are now in their late 60s or early 70s. Some have been drawing Social Security for several years already. Others are still weighing when to begin, and some made decisions based on partial or inaccurate information that has cost them considerably. The first critical topic I want to raise is the Social Security Fairness Act, because this legislation carries the most immediate and meaningful financial impact for people born before 1958 who spent time working in the public sector. On January 5th, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law. It permanently removed the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, two long-standing rules that had been cutting or entirely wiping out Social Security benefits for individuals receiving pensions from employment that did not contribute to Social Security. Teachers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, federal workers covered under the civil service retirement system, and a wide range of state and local government employees were all impacted by these provisions. For people born before 1958 who are now in their late 60s or older, this legislation arrived after many had already been receiving reduced payments for years. The Social Security Administration was directed to recalculate every affected beneficiary's payment and issue the difference retroactively back to January 2024. By the middle of 2025, more than $17 billion had been paid out to over 3 million individuals. But here is the situation I specifically want to draw your attention to. If you received a pension from a job not covered by Social Security and you never applied for a Social Security spousal or survivor benefit because the government pension offset would have reduced it to nothing, you may have an unclaimed benefit sitting there right now that you have never received and may not even realize you are owed. The government pension offset cut your spousal or survivor benefit by 2/3 of your government pension amount. For many people, that calculation brought the benefit down to exactly zero. They were informed that filing would yield nothing, and so they never submitted an application. Now that the offset has been eliminated, what was previously zero is potentially several $100s per month. However, the Social Security Administration does not automatically begin sending you a benefit you never applied for. You must take action and file. If you are a widow or widower of someone who worked in a public sector role with a government pension and you never filed for a survivor benefit because you were advised the offset would eliminate it entirely, contact the Social Security Administration at 1-800-772-1213 right away and ask specifically about your eligibility under the Social Security Fairness Act. The retroactive period is limited, which means every month you wait is a month of payments you may not be able to recoup. That covers the first major issue. The second major topic is what I call the 0-year problem in the earnings record. For people born before 1958, this issue takes on a specific form that differs from how it affects younger retirees. Individuals born before 1958 are between 68 and 82 years old in 2026. Many of them built their professional lives during an era when women were expected to step away from paid work for marriage, raising children, or providing care to family members. Many of their earnings records contain substantial gaps, 5, 10, or even 15 years of zeros reflecting periods when they were not in paid employment. Social Security computes your benefit using your 35 highest earning years. For someone with 30 years of actual earnings, 5 0 years get folded into the average. For someone with 25 years of earnings, 10 0 years are included. Every 0 year pulls the average down and permanently reduces the monthly benefit. For the majority of people in this position, the opportunity to replace those 0 years by returning to work has already passed. But there is still a meaningful action available that most people have never pursued, and that is reviewing the earnings record itself for inaccuracies. Social Security earnings records are not without flaws. Errors do occur. Employers have failed to report wages correctly. Self-employment income has been left out. Earnings from years when a name change took place following a marriage or divorce may have been filed under a different Social Security number. Contributions credited to the wrong number may never have been properly applied. Log into your My Social Security account at SSA.gov and go through your earnings record year by year. If you discover a year where your actual income was meaningfully higher than what the record shows, you have the legal right to request a correction. The correction process requires supporting documentation, typically a W-2 form, a tax return, or a written statement from your employer for the year in question. Corrections to earnings records can be submitted going back many years. In certain cases, a single corrected year that was listed as zero but should have reflected $40,000 in actual earnings can noticeably improve the 35-year average and permanently raise the monthly payment. For someone receiving benefits based on a record containing several inaccurate years, the correction process could add $100 or more each month for the remainder of their life. The third major topic is the claiming strategy for people born before 1958 who have not yet filed, and for those who filed early and are wondering whether anything can still be done. For those in this birth cohort who have not yet claimed Social Security, the delayed claiming math is uncomplicated. Your full retirement age is 66. Each year you postpone claiming past that age up through age 70 adds 8% permanently to your benefit. By age 70, you have added 32% above your full retirement age benefit. For someone whose full retirement age benefit is $2,000 monthly, waiting until 70 results in $2,640 per month. Compared to claiming at 66, that is $640 more per month or $7,680 more per year, permanently locked in. For people born before 1958 who filed early at 62, 63, or 64 and who now regret that choice, the 12-month withdrawal option may or may not still be within reach. The Social Security Administration permits you to withdraw your application and repay every dollar of benefits received within 12 months of your initial benefit start date. If that window has already closed, a second option exists called voluntary suspension. Voluntary suspension allows you to stop receiving your Social Security benefit after you have reached full retirement age and then resume it at a later point at a higher monthly amount. If you claimed at 62 and have now reached your full retirement age of 66, you are eligible to voluntarily suspend your benefit. For every month of suspension beyond your full retirement age, your benefit grows by 2/3 of 1%, which equals 8% per year. Suspending from age 66 all the way to age 70 would add 32% to your benefit before payments resume. The trade-off is giving up the monthly payments during the entire suspension window. Whether suspension is the right move depends on your current health, your other available income, and the broader financial picture of your household. But for someone in solid health who has other income and who filed early with a meaningful improvement available through suspension, the financial logic can be quite compelling. The fourth major topic is household coordination strategy and why it holds special importance for people born before 1958. Individuals in this birth cohort are now between 68 and 82 years of age. Many are in their late 60s or early 70s. The household coordination approach I am about to walk through is most powerful when put in place before the higher earning spouse has filed, but there are still worthwhile decisions available even in households where one partner has already claimed. The underlying principle is straightforward. When one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse receives whichever of the two monthly benefits is larger. The amount the higher earner locked in at their claiming age becomes the amount the surviving spouse will collect for potentially many decades of widowhood. For a couple in which the higher earner filed at 62 and locked in a permanently reduced amount and the lower earner is still living and has not yet filed, an opportunity still remains. The lower earner can choose to delay their own filing in order to build delayed retirement credits on their own record and then evaluate at age 70 whether their own delayed benefit or a survivor benefit based on the higher earner's record is the more valuable choice. The survivor benefit can be claimed as early as age 60. If you are a widow or widower who has not yet filed for any Social Security benefit, you have a specific decision available that most people are never told about. You can claim your survivor benefit now and postpone your own retirement benefit until age 70 to accumulate delayed credits. Alternatively, you can begin your own benefit now at a reduced rate and switch to the survivor benefit at your full retirement age when it peaks at its highest value. The right path depends on the relative sizes of your own benefit and the survivor benefit, which requires calculating the actual numbers for your individual circumstances. Let me close this section with the actions that carry the most weight for people born before 1958. Log into SSA.gov and carefully review your complete earnings record. Flag any years where the reported income does not match your actual earnings. If you find discrepancies, collect documentation and submit a correction request to the SSA. If you held a public sector job with a pension and never applied for a Social Security spousal or survivor benefit because you were told the government pension offset would eliminate it, call 1-800-772-1213 this week. Ask specifically about your eligibility under the Social Security Fairness Act. If you have not yet claimed Social Security and you are already past your full retirement age of 66, calculate what your benefit would be at age 70 and weigh it against claiming now. The 8% annual increase for every year of delay past 66 is real, and it is permanent. If you filed early and are now past your full retirement age, speak with the SSA about voluntary suspension and have them walk through the break-even math for your particular situation. And if you are widowed, run the comparison between your own benefit path and the survivor benefit path at various ages to determine which sequence generates the greatest lifetime income. Every one of these steps is available right now. Everyone is grounded in rules already in effect, and everyone only requires that you are aware they exist and that you make the call. Share this video with one person in your life who was born before 1958 and who you know has never sat down for a thorough conversation about their Social Security options. That conversation could genuinely change their financial situation for the remainder of their life. I will see you in the next one. Let me now go deeper on each of the 4 topics I described because the practical specifics are where the real financial difference is made. On the Social Security Fairness Act, I want to speak to a particular group of people born before 1958 who are specific and frequently overlooked. These are individuals who spent most of their careers in Social Security, covered employment, but also had a stretch of public sector work tied to a pension and whose own retirement benefit was reduced by the windfall elimination provision rather than having their spousal benefit cut by the government pension offset. The windfall elimination provision applied a modified calculation to determine the Social Security retirement benefit for people who had earned pension income from non-covered jobs. Rather than using the standard formula, the windfall elimination provision applied a reduced replacement factor to the first earnings tier, producing a lower benefit than what someone with identical Social Security earnings but no government pension would have received. Now that the windfall elimination provision has been eliminated, the SSA is required to recalculate your benefit using the standard formula. For some individuals, this recalculation has already taken place automatically and they have seen their monthly payment increase. For others, the recalculation is still in progress, and for a smaller subset, the recalculation resulted in a smaller increase than anticipated because of errors in how the SSA recorded their non-covered pension information. If you know your benefit was reduced by the windfall elimination provision and you have not seen any increase in your monthly payment since January 2024, contact the Social Security Administration and ask specifically for an update on the status of your Fairness Act recalculation. Ask for a written explanation of how the new calculation was performed. You are entitled to this information and you have the right to file an appeal if you believe the recalculation was done incorrectly. On the earnings record review, I want to address the specific situation facing women born before 1958 who changed their name after marriage and who may have earnings recorded under a different name or a different Social Security number than the one they currently use. This is a more widespread issue than most people are aware of. Before electronic record keeping became the standard, earnings were documented under the name and Social Security number used at that time. A woman who married in her 20s, took her husband's name, and then worked under that married name for the rest of her career may have early earnings listed under her maiden name and later earnings under her married name, both correctly tied to her Social Security number. But in certain cases, particularly for women who married at a very young age or who had unusual employment circumstances, earnings from the maiden name period may not have been properly linked to the current Social Security number. If your My Social Security earnings record shows unusually low or zero earnings for years when you know you were working, this is worth looking into further. Reach out to the Social Security Administration and explain that you believe your earnings record may be incomplete for certain years. They have the ability to conduct a wage trace investigation to locate any earnings that may have been documented under a different name or number and apply them to your current record. This process takes some time but can add meaningful income to years that currently appear as gaps. On the delayed claiming and voluntary suspension options, I want to walk through the specific math that determines whether voluntary suspension makes financial sense for someone in your circumstances. If you filed early, for example, at age 62, your benefit was permanently reduced by the early claiming factor. For someone with a full retirement age of 66, filing at 62 reduces the benefit by roughly 25%. You receive 75% of your primary insurance amount. When you suspend your benefit at your current age, the suspension credits are applied to your current reduced benefit, not to the full retirement age benefit you would have received had you originally delayed. This is a critical distinction. You are not restoring your benefit to the level it would have reached had you never filed early. You are layering 8% per year in delayed credits on top of the already reduced base amount. Here's a concrete example to illustrate the calculation. A woman who filed at age 62 with a primary insurance amount of $2,000 per month receives $1,500 monthly. She is now 67, 1 year past her full retirement age of 66. If she suspends her benefit today and resumes at age 70, she will earn 8% per year for 3 years, which equals 24% added to her current benefit of $1,500 monthly. When payments resume at 70, her benefit becomes $1,860 per month. That is $360 more each month than she currently collects. Over a 10-year period, that additional income adds up to $43,200. The cost of achieving that is 3 years of forfeited payments during the suspension window at $1,500 per month for 36 months, totaling $54,000 in foregone income. The break-even point at which the higher resumed benefit has recovered the amount given up is approximately 12 years after payments restart, or around age 82 and a half. For someone who is 67 today and in good health, this calculation may or may not work in their favor, depending on their life expectancy and what other sources of income they have available. But having the actual numbers in front of you enables you to reach a decision with full information rather than incomplete information. On the household coordination and survivor benefit strategy, I want to spend more time on the specific situation of widows and widowers born before 1958 who have not yet filed for any Social Security benefit. If your spouse has passed away and you have not yet claimed Social Security, you are facing a decision that involves 2 separate benefit amounts. Your own retirement benefit, which is based on your individual earnings history, and the survivor benefit, which is based on your late spouse's record. The optimal filing strategy depends on which benefit is larger and on the timing of when you claim each one. Here is the approach that generates the greatest lifetime income for most widows and widowers in this position. If your own retirement benefit at age 70 will be larger than the survivor benefit, file for the survivor benefit now and allow your own benefit to continue growing through delayed credits until you reach age 70. You begin receiving income right away through the survivor benefit, and at 70, you switch over to your own larger benefit, which you then receive for the rest of your life. If the survivor benefit is larger than your own benefit would ever be, regardless of when you file, claim your own reduced benefit now to begin receiving some monthly income and switch over to the survivor benefit at your full retirement age, which is when it peaks at 100% of your late spouse's primary insurance amount. The specific ages at which each benefit reaches its peak value are different from one another. Your own retirement benefit reaches its maximum at age 70. The survivor benefit reaches its maximum at your full retirement age, which is 66 for people born before 1958. Knowing both maximum amounts gives you what you need to determine which sequence delivers more total income across your expected lifetime. Call the Social Security Administration and request that they run both scenarios for you. Ask for your own estimated benefit at ages 62, 66, and 70. Ask for the survivor benefit at ages 60, 62, and 66. Armed with those 6 figures, you can run the comparison yourself and identify the filing sequence that works best for your situation. I also want to address the Medicare connection for people born before 1958 because there is a Medicare premium issue that specifically affects seniors in this age group who had higher incomes during their final working years. Medicare Part B premiums are determined by your income from 2 years prior. For individuals who were still earning a high income in their early to mid-60s and who retired within the past few years, the Medicare IRMAA surcharge may be adding anywhere from $81 to $487 each month to their Medicare premium based on income they are no longer earning. The solution is Form SSA 44, which is available at ssa.gov. Retirement is explicitly recognized as a qualifying life-changing event that allows Medicare to recalculate your premium using your current income rather than the income figure from 2 years ago. Submitting this form, along with documentation of your retirement date and your current income level, can remove the surcharge immediately and save you thousands of dollars each year in Medicare premiums. For a person born before 1958 who stepped away from a high-earning position in 2023 or 2024, the IRMAA surcharge in 2025 and 2026 could be substantial. Filing Form SSA 44 is a task that takes roughly 30 minutes and can produce savings of $1,000 to $5,000 or more annually. Let me finish with the complete list of actions that matter most for people born before 1958. Review your Social Security earnings record at ssa.gov and look for any years where reported income is missing or inaccurate. If you find errors, gather your supporting documents and submit a correction request to the SSA. If you held a public sector job with a pension and never applied for a spousal or survivor benefit because you were told the government pension offset would eliminate it, call 1-800-772-1213 this week and ask specifically about your eligibility under the Social Security Fairness Act. If you have not yet claimed Social Security and you are past your full retirement age of 66, compare what your benefit would be at age 70 to what you would receive if you claimed today. The 8% annual increase for every year of delay past 66 is genuine, and it is permanent. If you claimed early and are now past your full retirement age, ask the SSA about voluntary suspension and request that they help you run the break-even calculation for your specific numbers. If you are widowed, Compare your own benefit filing sequence against the survivor benefit sequence at various claiming ages to pinpoint the order that produces the highest total lifetime income. If you retired within the last 2 or 3 years and your Medicare premium currently includes an IRMAA surcharge, submit Form SSA 44 to have your premium recalculated based on your current income. All of this information is publicly accessible. All of these forms are available at no cost, and every single one of these steps has the potential to permanently raise your monthly income for the rest of your life.